Well, hello, peeps. Good morning. Happy hump day. Happy hump day. Oh, it is Wednesday here in the land of Spence, and you know what that means? We talk about hump day hurdles and how we overcome them. So, I have a question. We talk about champions, people who fight and defend. What if you, me, um, what if you're a champion of guilt? Hmm. That doesn't sound like a very good champion. So, hear me out, because I just need to figure out how how do you advocate for yourself without feeling guilty? I don't know. So I'm here to find out. I very much worry about making sure that I am being all the things that I need to be to all of other people. And oftentimes, the things that I need to keep my head above water, to maintain my sanity and peace, seem to get put on the back burner a lot. And I know that I'm not the only person. Like, I know that's probably you too. And so I have myself in a situation where I I feel like I want to advocate for myself. I feel like I need to speak my mind, which in turn would be speaking up for myself, my happiness, my level of fun. But for some reason, I am just overly consumed with worrying about offending this person and making them unhappy. Now, here's the kicker. And listen, you might be sipping your tea right now and you're about to shake your head at me remotely. I've never met this person in real life. I have never met this person in real life. And yet, I worry that me speaking up for myself is going to just offend them so much and bother them so much that I am willing to negate my own happiness and peace of mind to keep them satiated. Yeah, I'm pausing because even listening to me say that out loud, I go, wow. Wow. Oh, oh man. Some of us are literally a work in progress every single day, are we not? So I don't know how to do this without feeling bad, which is a really crappy feeling. And I hate it. But I also am not having fun with something that I feel like, hey, this is kind of your gig. Like, you should be having fun. So here's the skinny. And I'm I know we talk about like energy and motivation and like, but I often share a lot about why my brain works the way it does, and why I'm talking about the things that I'm talking about. And this is one of those mornings that I am reaching out for advice because I don't know what to do. So, as you know, aka geek in the house here, and one of my passions is D&D. Now, listen, before you turn the channel, I'm not going to get into a D&D conversation with you. Okay, so pause for a minute. But I have been DMing a campaign, which I've mentioned multiple times, and I have a particular player at our table. We play virtually, so it's table in air quotes, who I've never met in person. Actually, let me back that up. There are two people at the table that I have never met in person. Okay. One of them is a former student, and the other is my husband. Now, the third individual we have gotten to know through D&D online, and we've actually become like fast friends. Corey, when I say we, Corey and I play in his campaign on another night. We met in a campaign that folded, unfortunately, and then he now sits as a player at my table. He's awesome. Absolutely awesome. He literally just shows up to like have a good time and get a little bit of a break from reality. It's refreshing. He builds characters that are like weird and sometimes kind of test the limits of my ability as a DM. But this fourth player, we found him online when we posted looking for a fourth player to round out the table. And I interviewed him on Discord via voice. I wanted to talk to him. And I told him about my philosophy. I told him about my play style. I told him about where I wanted things to go as far as the story. Not trying to railroad, but just an overall feeling from the story. I also indicated, like this is meant to be something that like puts people through like trials and tribulations, and it's a challenge. This is not like the type of table where you play like Harry Potter characters and you go and solve like these little like Scooby-Doo mysteries. Like there's supposed to be a level of like grit to this. And oh, yes, I'm on board. And I also indicated I'm not a super big fan of people that try to build like broken characters. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a little old school in so much that I want, even though you're playing a fantasy game, I want you to have some level of challenge so that you as the player and you as your character can grow. Because that's the beauty of the real world. We are met with hardships and adversities, and we learn from them. They make us stronger. And then we come out of the gate with all of that wisdom and experience, and we apply it to future endeavors. At least, maybe that's my cotton candy view of the world. That's how I approach my day. And so I approach my play style in the same fashion. And I explained all this to him. Yes, I get it. Okay. What kind of character do you want to build? He wanted to build a character that Corey actually plays often and plays it very well. And I was like, oh, Corey could be a great resource. I can help you out. I don't really play spellcasters very much, but obviously as a DM, I have to know about them. And and everything seemed great. He seemed to be very much in line with what was like about to happen. And then we get into it, and this he's trying to break everything. And he's trying to approach this like he's playing a video game, like a loot and shoot, basically. And I've been very frustrated with his play style. Been very frustrated with how he's just constantly trying to come up with ways to what I call game the system, which I look at people in the real world, and I look at like some of my students, and I look at like other adults that I deal with, and there are most definitely people out there that have that aspect to their personality where they're always trying to find like the grift, right? They're trying to find the, I don't even want to call it the path of least resistance, but they're trying to find the easy way out. And they're literally trying to game the system. That is this guy. And for a while, I actually thought he was like reading ahead in the book that we were playing from, because like all of a sudden his character like had stuff in his inventory and he was able to do these things, and I was like, that's so weird and random that you would do something like that. Now here's the thing, and this is my issue. This is my issue. I have not up to this point necessarily called him on any of this. Like I have not said, "Hey, we need to talk. Um I'm frustrated by what you're doing," cuz I don't think that, part of me thinks like that's not fair for me to do that, because he should also be having fun while he plays, and I don't get to dictate what's fun for other people. However, this is because this is where my guilt comes in, and this is the whole like, am I really a champion of guilt? Like, am I just destined to walk the earth feeling guilty for feeling frustrated and not being like woohoo all the time? I don't know. So I have um I have indicated that like my stress level has been through the roof, as many of you know, since losing my sister in September. I've been struggling with my mental health. I've been struggling with my physical health as a result of my stress levels and things. And so I have taken some breaks from DMing. Um, and I have been very forthright with the table about that. Like, guys, I really am just under a lot of pressure and stress right now. And so I've been trying to practice some of the things that we talk about here in the morning, like essentialism, saying no, those types of things. So I have been trying to advocate for myself in those regards. But the thing is that like he's constantly messaging me, and he's constantly like trying to find, like he just wants to keep changing things. And every time I throw a little bit of a challenge at the group, all of a sudden I look at his character sheet and he's like changed a bunch of stuff to like circumvent and find like this really janky workaround for the challenge that I've put in front of them. And some of it is legal and some of it is not, because he's changing things after the fact, which for those that don't know anything about D&D, like once you build certain parts of your character, like you can't change the mechanics aspect of it, but he's doing it. And so even like I specifically said, guys, I'm just not feeling well right now. And I have a lot going on at school with like all of my other responsibilities. I need to step away from DMing for a bit. And then that particular night, which was the last night we were playing, I was also super sick. Like I had a giant migraine. It was just not a good night, but I was trying to lean into it and I was trying to have a good time. Because, I feel like as a DM who puts hours and hours and hours into something, you also have the right to enjoy yourself and have fun. So, like, if you're the type of person that, like, is in charge of something, don't forget that you also have the right to enjoy yourself and have fun. And I have to often remind myself of that because, again, champion of guilt here, I am always worrying about like taking care of everybody else first because I feel guilty if I don't. And so on this particular last night, we got to a point where it made sense we could stop. And I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I just can't go on anymore tonight. I just feel like garbage. So if you're okay with stopping, and everybody else at the table was like, oh my God, you didn't even have to run tonight. Like, thank you. Like, you're amazing. Go to sleep. And I don't need to hear like the you're amazing part. That's not important. But they understood that I'm a human being and I needed to go to bed and I needed to just turn my brain off. And so after a couple minutes, they were like, just let us know when you're feeling up to it, whatever, right? And I sign off. By the time I walk downstairs to turn my phone's alarm on and put it in the thing, he had already started bombarding me in my DMs. I know you're sick, but I had a couple questions about some rulings that you made tonight, and I really want to do this next time we play, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I just let out a sigh like that. And I don't want to be the person who lets out sighs like that all the time. So now it's become a situation where when I look at my phone and I see that there's a message from him, I don't open it. And I never want to be that person. So, as part of his job, he has to go off and do like trainings. And so he's been away for like a month. And so we haven't played. We've done some one shot stuff, but we haven't played my campaign. And it was very evident he was back in the States because the messages just started flowing into my inbox. And this is where I don't know what to do. And so he is making it seem like I'm forcing him to change things about the character that he wants to play, but he's doing it in a very passive aggressive tone in these messages, which as an adult, I'm very frustrated by. So he's like, well, it seems like I'm taking away some of your fun. So, with your permission, I would like to change this. And I was like, what? So the root problem is he built a character that he doesn't know how to run. And so he's just trying to do like all these like spammy, cheesy things because he doesn't know how to run the character properly. And he's putting that on me by saying, like, it seems like the things that he's trying to do are not in line with, and I'm not having fun and I'm getting frustrated. No, I'm getting frustrated because I feel like whatever character he runs, he's going to do the same thing. He's going to try to game the system, be cheeseball about it. And like, he never wants a challenge. He's like the type of person that you meet in your life that never gets told no, that wants everything handed to them on a silver platter. And the minute they reach any level of challenge or frustration, they sit down, they cross their legs, they cross their arms, and they go, hoof. And they wait for somebody to fix it. We all know that person. Come on. We all know that person. And so I am feeling like this game, this escape from reality for me is turning into another full-time job because I feel like I always have to have my DM hat on, and I all like he messages me like if I were to engage with the message that he sent, which now I feel really guilty because and this is part of the thing, I haven't responded to him in like 5 days. I've completely ghosted him because I just am so exhausted about the idea of entertaining a conversation with him about this. Because no matter what I say, I'm either going to get a thumbs up, which, as you know, in social media land, is basically the middle finger. When you respond to someone's big, lengthy message with a thumbs up, that's like giving them the middle finger. Like, okay. Or I'm gonna get into this discourse with him where he's gonna argue his point, and then I'm gonna be like, whatever, and I'm just gonna give in. And then I'm just, whatever. I'm at the whatever stage. And I don't wanna be at the whatever stage about something that is supposed to bring me joy and that I'm passionate about. And so I don't know what to do because what I want to do is just be like, dude, I just don't think this is working. After like a month, or not a month, a year. We started this like last summer. We haven't played for a year straight because he keeps going on these, like, he has to go on these trips and we have to take breaks. But I want to just be like, I don't think this is the table for you. I think you want to play a character that doesn't fit in with the setting and the campaign. And I think that you want to do things to build broken characters, and that's not what I think is amazing about D&D. I think part of what's amazing about D&D is that you build this fantasy character where you get to go through trials and tribulations, and you watch a character grow and become stronger, and it doesn't necessarily impact your actual real day-to-day life. Like, you can take risks and take challenges, and there's only like in-game reactions and consequences. Whereas I, as a real person, if I were to say something to someone off the cuff, I could have a real world consequence. I could damage a relationship with them. I could impact my job. There's all sorts of things. And so I don't know. This is where my guilt comes in. I've never met this person in real life. I never have to worry about meeting them in real life. Why is it so hard for me to just express my views and opinions and something that will make me happier in the game that I love by just saying, like, I don't think this is working. I think you should find another table and excuse him from the game. Why can't I do that? Why can't I advocate for myself without drowning in guilt? Help. I need help. So, big heavy sigh. Big heavy sigh. So, thanks for sticking with my story this morning. I hope that having a little bit of background makes sense in why, I don't know, because part of me feels like I'm just being like a pain in the ass where I'm just complaining about something and I'm being overly sensitive. But another part of me is like, no, like, this shouldn't be a job. It shouldn't be a job. It should be fun. I have fun at my job. I work here all day and I have oodles of fun. It shouldn't be a job. It shouldn't be something where I dread doing it when it's supposed to be something that brings me passion and joy. Help me find the words to advocate for myself. I will be very grateful if you can. All right. That is all I have for you today. I hope that you have an amazing day. Please, please, please make the most of it because, as you know, it's just never, ever gonna happen again. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on the Thursday edition of the D-Spence Dish. Bye, guys.